As they take the offering, I have a word of testimony and witness. Remember Sarah's final sermon last week and how she talked about waiting. And she said that she had to wait for a long time to find Kevin, that she's still waiting, she and Kevin, for God's leading into a full expression of their ministry calling. And it was very impactful. And for months now, I've been waiting for the right time to share my testimony, which is also about waiting, of how God has worked in my life and on my ego and on my marriage. And last week after Sarah's sermon, we were here in the reception hall sitting and talking, and Larry Moffat and I got to talking about it, and he heard what I had to say and said, you know, that would be good to share next week, and so here I am. I was raised to be an overachiever, workaholic, trying to be the exception to the rule for my race, for little Dothan, Alabama, where I'm from, and for black men especially. I went to Harvard. I went to medical school, and then after stumbling a bit during my residency, I finally grew up and set out to be a world-class medical researcher and a teacher at an academic medical center. I found my calling pretty soon: sickle cell disease. It's an inherited blood disorder that shortens the life of Africans and African Americans, but also Saudis, Italians, Greeks, South Asian Indians, and many others. The problem was I picked an area that wasn't glamorous or destined to put me in the spotlight held on world-class researchers. Medical schools don't usually recruit sickle cell doctors. The patients don't usually come from means. They don't own businesses that can donate to the research. But for most of my life, that was okay with me. As a Christian, I was interested in ministry and not just a job. Then I saw my colleagues getting ahead, making it in other fields. And I said, well, should I stay here or should I join the crowd? And about 10 years ago, all of that caught up with me. I was a frustrated workaholic, turning to other addictions for relief as well. I had a frustrated wife who felt single, and I'd lost my identity, just like we talked about today. Even though I was a Christian, I was still lost. I turned to the late Joe Bowser, and many of you remember Joe. He was a Christian counselor, well known, gave me some much needed help in finding my identity, in returning to what really satisfies in life, and in reconnecting with my family. But I still wanted to be stroked. I wanted to be rewarded for my missionary work at the medical center. I expected somebody somewhere to say, hey, that guy's sacrificing for those patients. The least we can do is help him out, give him some support. I wanted not just more salary, but I wanted some help in the form of nurses or social workers or people to help do the work. Now, people doing similar work around the country were getting this support. And I felt, what's wrong with me? I waited. I put in proposals. And then my longtime nurse practitioner retired after they said she wasn't pulling her weight in billing in the clinic and in the hospital. And then they cut my salary by 25%. They said I wasn't pulling my weight in billing. even though I had brought millions in grant money to the hospital. Over the years, many times I've told lots of you in private that we might move if a better offer comes along. But deep down, inside, all this time, I didn't have a release. God wouldn't give me freedom to leave. In fact, he kept saying, stay, wait. Once at a healing service here, I came forward for special prayer when somebody had a word of knowledge about my condition. Years later, at an elders retreat, God gave me another wink. I was comparing myself to Jacob in the passage in the Genesis where he laid his head on what must have been uncomfortable stone. And then he dreamt he saw a ladder going all the way up to heaven. I finished my meditation, and when I looked up, there at Richmond Hill was a stained glass Jacob. I came home. I had a meeting with my family and said, we're not moving. God's spoken. I'm staying. All that was good until this year when I said, okay, God, I have stayed here and I've done my duty and I've put in my time. If we're ever going to move before I retire, now's the time to do it. Peaches and I started praying about a particular opportunity in Charleston. We visited there twice. We got down to signing the contract. But before signing, I had a proposal pending, my third proposal, to the hospital for the help that I need for this program. I wanted to see if they would come through one more time before leaving Richmond. Peaches and I started praying daily about our relationship, about this decision, and about my attitude, whether we stayed or whether we left. Well, in October, the clouds parted, the sun shone down, and the hospital gave me unprecedented help. You should have seen the changes in the faces and the attitudes of the middle management who were crying, poor man, before. And then the hospital director says, no, we're going to give this program what it needs and save us some money. And they went, yes, we are. Always loved you. And I can't describe the relief I felt, the feeling of vindication I felt, and the increase in my excitement to go to work, not nervous about the future. So today I can say, we're staying. We're going to be here in Richmond. And I can say that I've taken about 20 years to experience Isaiah 40:31. Those who wait or hope on the Lord will renew their strength, soar on wings like eagles, run and not grow weary, walk and not be faint.